What on earth is going on in this transfer window? That has actually shut, by the way. Evening, welcome, morning, afternoon, everyone. My voice is just about getting there. Hopefully, you can all hear me. I may go a bit croaky. I've got some water by me, so hopefully it won't be too bad. I feel a little bit better today. I've not been good. It's been a horrible couple of days in terms of how I've been feeling. I've tried to put out the content that I've put out, tried to put out some clips, but to be fair, it's not been good. And I feel a little bit better today. And I'm hoping that I can continue to feel better if the news is right, what's broken, just literally recently about Victor Gyokeres. And you all know, if you've been listening to me for some time, that I'm a big fan of Victor Gyokeres, and he's the one that I want. Now, as soon as I realised that Issac was not available, I honestly wanted him and no one else. It was just Victor Gyokeres that I wanted. And we're going to go into why I want him. We're also going to be looking at the rumours that's come out, and it is only rumours. Let's not get excited. We've not signed Victor Gyokeres before everyone gets excited. But there has been some big news and breaking news as to his thoughts and his priorities. It looks like he wants Arsenal. That does not mean that Arsenal want him. It does not mean that Arsenal will sign him. It doesn't mean that Arsenal have signed him. It doesn't mean that he's agreed a contract with us. It just means that he has made it clear that he wants Arsenal. Now, this is massive for me because this now proves that if anything was to go towards the fingers of blame, it cannot be that Gyokeres did not want Arsenal, because he has come out now and said, come get me. Come get me. That is basically what he has said tonight, according to Fabrizio Romano. So we're going to go into that. Make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. Those two buttons need to be pressed. Big up to all of the mods in the house. Big up to everybody that's listening live. If you do want to put any questions or super chats in, please go for it. Super chats, of course, will go in to the front of the queue. So please make sure you do that. Make sure you click on Match Bingo as well. You can scan the QR code here or click the link in the description. Make sure you do that, people, because they are our sponsors this month and they've been fantastic. So make sure that you are doing that. I need to see a bid going in soon to get Victor Gyokeres across the line. But let's talk about what we do know. Let's talk about what we do know. Let's go backwards. Let's look at right now and not a few hours ago. As things stand, which is why you've tuned in, it looks as though Fabrizio Romano has spilled the beans on Victor Gyokeres. And this is what we know so far. According to Fabrizio, who I think people see as a fairly reliable source, Victor Gyokeres' priority is to join Arsenal this summer, despite calls from Manchester United in recent weeks. Gyokeres always was an option amid the Sesko talks, with no deal sealed so far. Arsenal keep assessing the situation. United remain keen, but believe the deal is now unlikely. That's the facts that we do know, right? Fabrizio Romano, he has heard that Gyokeres' priority is to join Arsenal, despite there being calls from Manchester United. So I don't think there's been any denial. I don't think there's any sort of shock that both Manchester United and Arsenal want him. But this bomber from Fabrizio will get Arsenal fans excited, because when a player is coming out and making it that clear that he wants Arsenal, there's clearly been contact. There's clearly been something offered to him in terms of a club. Might not be terms, might not be a price yet. We might not know any of that, right? We'll come on to that in a minute. But he clearly knows the clubs that are interested in him. And he's looking at the scenario of Arsenal or Manchester United. Now, I'm not saying that Arsenal are a bigger club than Manchester United, right? Before people get it twisted. Manchester United are bigger than Arsenal. They've won more. They're bigger globally. They're the biggest English club in the world of football. There's only Real Madrid that I say are bigger than Manchester United. So it's not that Gyokeres is looking at Manchester United thinking, wow, this is the equivalent of going to Everton or West Ham. What he's looking at is, where are Arsenal and Manchester United today? Not in history, not back then, not way back under Fergie and Wenger, now. And I think he really understands the importance of European and Champions League football. And he believes, surely in his mind, that Arsenal would be a better fit for the pure fact that not only would he be guaranteed to play Champions League football and be guaranteed to play first team football for Arsenal, he'd also be a perfect fit to one of the last pieces of the puzzle to go and get Arsenal across the line in one of the major competitions. That, for me, has got to be key. And I know that he would play at Manchester United. I know he'd do quite well at Manchester United. He knows Ruben Amorim. I'm sure he'd be a first piece of the puzzle to get excited by Manchester United. But he would not guarantee them a trophy. He wouldn't guarantee them a Premier League. He's not going to guarantee them any form of European trophy because there's no European football. He might go win an FA Cup with them, and he might go win a Carabao Cup. So if you're a football player right now and you're looking at what you want to win this coming season, don't go to Manchester United unless you want a domestic cup, because they're not going to win anything in Europe because they're not in it, and they're not going to win the Premier League because they're not good enough. So 2 domestic cup doubles would be your absolute dream season for Manchester United and getting into the top 6 again. Or come to Arsenal and finally drag us across the line. I honestly believe this is a superb signing if it happens for Arsenal. Superb signing if it happens for Arsenal. It has to. I can't stress this enough. This has to happen. Now, I understand that what Fabrizio Romano is saying in relation to Sesko and Gyokeres, and we're doing a little bit of that. And that's why in the title of the thumbnail, I've said what is going on with both of these players, because I don't know that anybody really does know. But this signing has to be influence of Andrea Berta, because there was no talk of Victor Gyokeres until Andrea Berta walked through the door. There was none, zilch. We were not interested or linked with him. We weren't even looking at him. It was Issac, and if we couldn't get Issac, it was Sesko. Victor Gyokeres has not been spoken about until Andrea Berta walked through the door. So I'm not saying that Arteta's not agreed to this. I'm not saying Arteta doesn't deserve the credit or that the Cronkies don't deserve a mention as well. Everybody that's involved, of course, does. But if I'm honest with you, I've got to look at this scenario and say that Andrea Berta, I said I've got to remain consistent, that I do not give Andrea Berta any credit for Zubimendi. If we were to sign Sesko, if we were to sign Williams, but I will give him credit and look towards him to blame as well if it goes wrong for any of the other signings. So if Victor Gyokeres comes in and he bangs, it's on Andrea Berta. If Kepa comes in and has a clanger, I blame it on Berta. If a defender comes in and he's an absolute stinkfest like David Luiz, Mustafi or Socrates, I'm going to look at Berta. But if they come in and they start banging, I've got to be saying, wow. So I'm not getting carried away by saying that Victor Gyokeres is an Arsenal player. Let's not get it twisted. However, this has got to be a good start and good news for him to come out and say, I don't want them, but I do want them. Now, that doesn't stop Barcelona coming in, doesn't stop Chelsea getting involved if they want to. But at the moment, it looks like it is just Arsenal and Manchester United that are weighing up moves for Victor Gyokeres. It doesn't sound like Barcelona want a striker this summer at the moment. It sounds like Lewandowski's got one more year with them. Doesn't sound like, other than Liam Delap, Chelsea are massively interested in Gyokeres. It sounds more like people are expecting or anticipating Victor Osimhen or Hugo Ekitike to be going to Chelsea, if anything. So if I'm honest with you, I believe personally that this just has to get done now. When news like this comes out, you have to say, go and put a bid in now. Go and put a bid in. Now, if those don't believe that, Romano is telling the truth, then there are other sources suggesting that now it is not just Fabrizio Romano. Jamie Jackson has also come out saying this is the case, that Victor Gyokeres' reps have told United he does not wish to join the club because they don't have European football. He prefers Arsenal because they'll play in the Champions League next season. Now, that doesn't mean he wants Arsenal and only Arsenal. It doesn't mean that he is 100% coming to us. What it does mean, and it does look like, is he does not want Manchester United. And I think a lot of people appreciated that would probably be the case. Now, I did say, and this will make me sick, I did say I wanted Manchester United to win the Europa League. And it makes me sick saying that. I didn't want Tottenham winning it. But as soon as they won it, the only silver lining was that I had a little thought in my mind that that might prevent Gyokeres going to Manchester United. And it looks like that is the case. Now, I'm not saying that that's brilliant because Tottenham then won it. And this is the reason I wanted Tottenham to win. It wasn't any of that. I didn't want Tottenham to win it. But I was really surprised when I heard the news that Manchester United fans were getting excited about the potential of Gyokeres joining them. And I really found that hard to believe that he would want to leave a club that's competing in the Champions League and winning trophies for a club that's bigger than that club, but in England at the moment is underperforming at an unbelievable level. I honestly was shocked by that. And I felt potentially it was money and Amorim driven. But it now looks like he doesn't want Manchester United. And if these reports are true and they're coming out now from Romano and co saying that it's Arsenal they want, not Manchester United, well, I'm kind of breathing a sigh of relief knowing that this isn't actually done yet. So I don't want to get carried away. But I really do feel quite quietly confident now that this is the guy Arsenal are going to want to get. Now, I don't know that we don't want Sesko, and maybe Sesko was a smokescreen, or maybe Sesko was someone that Arteta had identified that Berta wanted to look at alongside Gyokeres. But for me, I truly believe Berta is the one who wants Victor Gyokeres. And if we got him, I truly believe that is a massive, massive statement signing for Arsenal. It's not an Issac. It's not a Florian Wirtz like Liverpool have done, but it's as close to that as we can get. It really is. I'm in the obviously race for Europe chat through 12th man. And Dom put it on earlier and just said thoughts. And Dan United was like, wow, we've really effed it up. We're back to Rasmus Højlund now. And then Don said, but if Arsenal sign Sesko, then he's all yours. But Dan said, I'm not sure how I feel about a player coming to United after saying they don't fancy it. It's a dose of reality for us United fans. It makes sense now why we're chasing Hugo Ekitike. Must have been told a couple of days ago that the chances were slim. And then they've put, by the way, Gyokeres transforms this Arsenal team. F's sake. F me. Now, that is rivals saying, oh dear. I don't think those rivals would be saying the same thing if we signed Benjamin Sesko. I don't think that if we sign Benjamin Sesko, here we go, my voice is going again now. Thought I'd had it back. Maybe I spoke too soon. Oh dear. I don't think Manchester United, Chelsea, City, Liverpool fans say, wow, that transforms Arsenal if we sign a Benjamin Sesko. I don't think so. I just don't. 785 people in here. Please hit the like and subscribe. Please, I beg you. It made me feel so much better. I'm not feeling well today, people, as I haven't done for the last few, but this would cheer me up. We've only got 132 likes and there's nearly 800 of you watching. Please, please hit the like and subscribe. 2 buttons that are free. Thanks, guys. I do appreciate it. Big up to Suj every time. He's in the chat. He's put in a super chat telling people to hit the like and subscribe. Big up down in the chat. Big up to you, Suj. Let me know your thoughts on this one, bro. It sounds like we're going for Gyokeres, and it sounds like Gyokeres wants Arsenal. Now, let's take you back a little bit because obviously Romano's reported this and obviously it's been reported by other sources as well. But there was news earlier on today that people weren't really believing in. And that was that a bid had gone in for Gyokeres from Arsenal. And apparently it was a first bid. And it was apparently an official bid for Gyokeres, which was worth 55 million euros with a 10 million pound euros in add-ons. The offer was made during a meeting in Menorca yesterday. Sporting are expected to reject it. Now, the first bid has got to go in. But if I'm honest, this is where the negativity comes out that people need to close their ears for because Dan Potts is always negative. That is a pitiful first bid. I appreciate that you want to test the waters, but Brighton signed a 18-year-old like wonder kid for 40 million euros yesterday or 2 days ago. We're not going to sign Gyokeres for the same. Arsenal need to sort that out because if that's still happening, our negotiations have not really changed. And if I'm honest with you, if a player of 80 million euros, which I believe is what Gyokeres is roughly worth, and our first bid is 46 million to 50 million, that is not going to do anything. I don't even know if that's going to test the waters. I think that would just be laughed back, if I'm honest. So that was the report today that was suggested of us going in with a shout for him. And when I heard that, I kind of just rolled my eyes, because if that's true, that's quite an insulting first offer. I've got to be honest. It's not a good first offer. It really isn't. But there are suggestions and rumors and reports, and I know that it was put in earlier on about another bid going in. And I really hope that we are not insulting with this second bid. I really hope that we say, look, the player wants us. Now he's come out and said he wants Arsenal. Let's make this work. He clearly doesn't want to stay at yourselves anymore. He's won unbelievable trophies with you. He wants the move. Let's make this work. We'll be respectful. We're not expecting him for 40 million. We'll give you, let's just say, 70 million euros is the next offer. And let's see where they go. If they want to push it up towards 80, I still think that's fair, because I think he's that good. But let's at least give a respectful. Let's not go back in with 59 million from 55. Yeah, let's actually be respectful with it. And I'll be interested with that, because with Declan Rice, we were quite embarrassing, to be honest, in the first instance when they said we wanted 100 million or 120 or whatever it was. And we went in with 70. That's really disrespectful to do that when they've said that's what they want. Go in with something like 85 and try and get it down by 15. Don't try and get it down by 30 odd mil. It's just not going to happen. You know, it really isn't. And we've tried to do the same. His release clause, I believe, is 84 million or something along that line. But there was an agreement to say he could go for less than that. But let's at least try and put it to 65, 70 million euros. Let's not take the piss too much, yeah? So it sounds like we're going to be looking to go in again. Now, I don't know what that rumour of figure is going to be. But a few Portuguese reports are suggesting that it's going to be closer to the 70 million euro mark. And that is going to be done early next week. Now, if that's true, I think it's more tempting. Big up to Punch Drunk Arsenal. He's obviously just sharing information over in Portugal, suggesting that Arsenal are going to be submitting a second bid of 70 million euros to sign Gyokeres, according to the following two Portuguese accounts. I don't know what these accounts are like. Talking Sporting and CNN Portugal. 63 goals and 12 assists last season. He's arguably one of the best strikers on the planet right now. 70 million euros would be an absolute bargain for me. Honestly, to get him for this money, I don't even know. Even if they want the full 80, do it. I don't know why that would be a bad signing or a risk. This is a perfect signing for us now. It has to happen. He comes in, he's given the number 14 shirt, he's our new striker. Boom. He starts every game. Havertz drops to the bench, becomes a squad player. It's perfect all round. It absolutely has to happen. There's over 900 in here. Do me a favor, hit the like button, please. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit those two buttons that are free. Please, I pray. Let's do some super chats. Abdullah says, I think it's a super pressure decision. One is a better fit in Arteta's eyes. The other's a goal machine who wants to join. He has to get this right. Let's just stop there and pause there for a minute. I watched Forever Arsenal today. Big up to Turkish, Jordan, James and Lee Judges every time. I thought they were spitting facts and I thought it was one of the best episodes in a long time. And I always like that podcast, but I just felt like there was a anger and a frustration and I could really relate with why they were feeling that way. And I appreciate that people believe that Seshko's a better fit because Arteta wants that. But like Abdullah has said here, he's a better fit in Arteta's eyes. But the other option is an absolute goal machine who's just said he wants to come to the club. Now, he has to get this right either way. And even if it is Gyokeres, Issac and Seshko and they all come in, we've got to get across the line. And what was really interesting was they were asked a question today on the podcast, if he doesn't win a Premier League, is it now time for a change? And all four of them said yes. Now, that for me is even more than I've asked for. I've just said he needs to win a trophy. Everybody believes he needs to win a Champions League or a Premier League. And not everybody. Some people are happy if he doesn't win anything. They just get on with their day. They don't care, right? But in terms of pressure and what should happen, I think Mikel Arteta knows he's got to. Could we? And I mean, could we look to get in both? If we can try and agree 70 million euros for Victor Gyokeres and around about the same for Shesko, is there an option where 140 million pounds is spent on our attack and we get these two in? It might mean that we sacrifice another position, like maybe an attacking midfielder, and we then use Ethan Wanyeri and perhaps Havertz and perhaps Max Dowman comes through and we look to do that. And then we get a winger and two strikers. Maybe that's what we do alongside Zubimendi and then backup keeper and defender. Or do we just buy one of Gyokeres and Sesko? I'm still not sure where I see the future of that. I think if Sesko isn't to Arsenal, I do believe he makes a move somewhere. Maybe it's Chelsea or Liverpool. Maybe Manchester United feel like they could get him. But I do feel like Osimhen and Sesko and Ekitike will be three more strikers that could be on the move somewhere alongside Gyokeres. I really do. I just don't know what club will go for who. Over 1,000 people in here. Come on, guys. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe. Big up to all of you. George says, just don't dilly-dally. Pay the money and get the guy. That's how I feel, bro. That's how I feel now. We know there's a release clause. We understand and appreciate that there's a gentleman's agreement or whatever you want to call it, that he might be able to go for a bit lower than that. But let's not take the PP. Let's go in there and say, I know you want 80 mil. We'll give you 80 million euros and let's get this done. 80 million euros is about 68 million pounds in money. We paid that or just shy of that for Havertz. So let's go get this done. This guy's better than Havertz. This guy's delivering. This guy's proven for 3 seasons in a row now that he can be an absolute bagsman. Please go and get it done, Arsenal. I beg that we get this done. This has to happen. I'll be devastated if we do not get Gyokeres now. Devastated. We need to play catch-up already. I've spoken on streams previously about what Liverpool have done with Gyokeres coming in, with Frimpong, with Wirtz being signed for a record transfer fee. They've got Mamardashvili that's coming. Manchester City have signed Ryan Cherky. They've signed Reinders. They've got Livramento they fancy getting. They've got Aït-Nouri already through the door. And they ain't done there. We've got to get this done. Carrington Blunt says, over the moon if we get Gyokeres, but if he flops, we're dusted. Listen, we are. I mean, let's not get it twisted. I'm not saying that Gyokeres comes in and takes us to Thierry Henry levels, but you have to go with the striker that is the least amount of risk to flop. And he right now is less of a risk of flopping than Seshko because he's proven he can score goals. That's just what you do, right? That's just what happens. Like, I'm trying to think of an example back in the day, but when Manchester United went for Wayne Rooney and spent £30 million, it was less of a risk than putting £30 million at the same time on Gabby Agbonlahor, because one of them was kind of just breaking through, scoring a few goals. The other one was absolutely flying for Everton. I mean, that's just off the top of my head. That's maybe a bad example, but you get my point. Go for the one that's less of a risk to flop. And that, for me, is Victor Gyokeres. It has to be. And I, like you, I'm over the move, Karen Sanam. I'm over the moon if we do get this guy. Abdullah says, I don't care which one he signs, to be honest. Just win the Premier League. I do feel a little bit like that. But there is something about Victor Gyokeres that I actually have a little bit of a kind of like for. I like his all-round game. I like his ball carrying. I like the fact that he is a focal point when he wants to be. I like the fact he scores all types of goals. And I do get frustrated, and I'm not taking away anything from people that know tactics better than me. I'm not a tactics guy. I'm not a coach, never have been. I watch football with my eyes. I know a lot about the game, but I don't know as much as others. But when people tell me they want Sesko because he brings more to the game, what do you mean by that? He's more over the left sometimes and he's all over the pitch. I don't want someone who's over the pitch. I want someone who's in the box. I want someone who's there when he needs to be. And some of the best strikers Arsenal have had is because they were there in the right place at the right time. And that's what Gyokeres seems to do. Anelka, Ian Wright, Thierry Henry, Robin van Persie, Kanu, Wiltord, Adebayor, Aubameyang, Van Persie. These are players that were always in the right place at the right time. Now, we had some strikers that you could get frustrated with because they weren't. I don't need to name all of them, but some of them haven't worked out at Arsenal. And some of the ones that have been quite good footballers but weren't always there at the right time, like Olivier Giroud, like Kai Havertz, we can upgrade on those positions, right? That's what I think we're doing here with Victor Gyokeres. He is a upgrade, or if I'm honest, he's a huge upgrade, but definitely an upgrade on Kai Havertz. And that's what we need to do, man. So I'm with you. I don't care about which one as long as we win the Premier League. I get that. But there is also a preference. Sue says, to be honest, I'm not holding my breath till I see him hold a top. Yeah, I think that's fair, bruv. Unfortunately, it's taken this long. We may miss out on other positions we need. There's that definite risk when you're putting your eggs in one basket that all eyes are on other clubs to look at what they're doing. What I will say is I don't look at any signing so far and think, wow, we really let that one drop. We were in for him and we've not got him now. I don't think we were ever in for Florian Wirtz. I don't think we were ever in for Reinders. I would have loved both. Both would walk into Arsenal's first team. I think that's key. I'm not sure why we weren't in for Ryan Cherky, but we weren't. We were never in for Frimpong or Gyokeres, it seems. We're never in for Ait Nouri. We were never in for Brian Mbeumo or Cunha, as serious as the reports were suggesting. So I don't think there's anybody looking to go elsewhere that I'm like, what? We've dropped the ball. Like, he was coming to us. Why is he now going there? So I got to be real. Like, it's a really, really good signing if it happens. Victor Gyokeres. Really good signing if it happens. Big up to everyone that's here, man. I really appreciate you all. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Victor Gyokeres to Arsenal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a poll in the chat. I'm not going to say who you prefer out of Sesko or Gyokeres. We've done that before and everybody said Gyokeres. I'm going to ask this question quite simply. Will Arsenal now sign Gyokeres? He's come out and said, I want Arsenal. Will Arsenal now sign Gyokeres? Yes or no? It's in the chat. It's in the poll. Make sure you put your answers down and we'll go through it towards the end of the show. A lot of people are saying they don't believe it still. A lot of people are saying, let's go get him. And some are saying that let's just give it time. It will happen. I personally don't believe that there's any way that anyone can be guaranteeing. But what are your thoughts? Will Arsenal now sign Gyokeres? There's been over 100 votes already. So far, 53% of you are saying yes. It's very close. If we don't sign him, I will be looking towards the ownership and the manager because this needs to happen. And I truly believe Berta wants it to happen. Now, there'll be two ways of looking at it if it don't. He will get the blame. Oh, Berta couldn't get it across the line. He's a fraud. I can see it all coming now. Is it that? Or is it, well, look, I've tried to get you the striker, but you're telling me you want Sesko. So you've pulled the plug and we've got to go for Sesko now. This has to happen, man. We have to get Gyokeres. We absolutely have to. We can't mess this up. And, you know, like, look, Gunnar Russ, good friend of mine, big up to you, Russ. No, we'll fuck it up. No faith, Russ, no faith. And I don't blame you, to be honest. I don't. Do you know what? If we had anything about us, we'd get both. If the owners had any ambition, they'd be having chats and they'd be going, what is this you're actually debating? Well, Andrea wants Gyokeres, but I've wanted Sesko for ages. Why don't you just get both of them here? Here's 150 million euros. Ah, brilliant. Thanks, boss. That's great. Right. Now we can concentrate on the winger that we need. But we don't do that, do we? We dilly-dally. We're looking at who we want. Ooh, and if I'm honest, Jordan said it bang on today on Forever Arsenal. Being indecisive in the middle of June over what striker you want, one word, embarrassing. Embarrassing. That's what it is. Being indecisive in the middle of June about what striker you want is embarrassing. This should have been decided in January, February. He walked in I think, February or March. Andrea Berta should have been saying, right, leave this to me. I want this striker. To be indecisive and, I'm not sure which one we're up to. If that is actually Andrea Berta happening, that's poor. It's embarrassing. But I wouldn't imagine it is. I actually do believe Andrea Berta wants Gyokeres, and I think Arteta's the one. I want Sesko. I've always wanted Sesko, and it's causing drama. That's what it looks like from the outside looking in. Do I know that's the case? Of course I don't. I don't work within the club. That's just my opinion of what I think is happening in this tug of war. Now, I hope that Victor Gyokeres is the guy that we go for. He's come out, hold his hands up and said, boom, you don't do that unless there's been some form of contact. And there's reports of meetings and bids going in. I hope we get this guy. I hope we get this guy. I really do. I really do. Jim says, we need one of each. We need a striker, Victor Gyokeres. We need a CDM, which I imagine will be Zubamendi. We need a centre-back, which they're saying could be the likes of Yoel Harto or perhaps Mark Guehi or Mosquera, whether you believe those rumours. We need a central midfielder and another winger. Yes. Do you know what? I say yes to all of those, if I'm honest with you. I think we do. Jay, big up to you, bro. I hope you're well, man. There's no excuses now, my bro. Get it done. And there's not. I've not gone to hear anything about why it didn't happen, how it didn't happen. I want the board and the ownership to explain why we didn't get Victor Gyokeres, who was begging for an Arsenal move. Now, I appreciate if it's Ollie Watkins, they're coming out saying, yeah, he did want us, but we thought we could improve and get better, and that's why we went for Gyokeres. I can appreciate if you maybe have a winger like Garnacho who says, I want to move away from Manchester United and I want to go and revive my career. I'll be interested in Chelsea. And Chelsea went, really, we're looking at Rodrigo. I totally appreciate that. But when it's Gyokeres and it's like, I know you wanted us, but we wanted Sesko, you're like, so you wanted the guy that's worse on paper than Gyokeres because you think he's a better fit, whatever that means. I mean, I watched the breakdown from James and Graham, big up to them, but I don't understand why somebody with the attributes of a little bit quicker and might be able to do more on the wing is something that we need. I just do not think that is the fit at all. We've got that with Havertz, haven't we? And I weren't a fan of it. When people say he's just a better version of Havertz, but we've already got one of them. Why don't we go and get something different? Because Thierry Henry was one of the best goal scorers Arsenal have ever had. Bergkamp is the best number 10 they've had. But he didn't try and get another Bergkamp or another Henry. They went and bought Carnu, who again was very different technically, unbelievable, and Wiltord. And we had 4 different strikers back then. Yes, it was 4-4-2, but let's say we need 3 strikers now, and you've got Kai Havertz. Why do you want somebody who's similar to Havertz? Surely you want an absolute poacher now, because you've got all the hold-up, link-up play. That's the way I see it in football, but I don't know why we'd want 3 Kai Havertz in the side. It just makes no sense to me. JJ says Arsenal need to stop messing about and sign him. Yeah, if I'm honest with you, it does feel like it's a little bit of messing about, particularly if it's true about the first bid that's gone in today, worth around £45 million. I mean, that for me is really insulting. I understand and appreciate 70 million euros going in tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday, whenever it is. I think that's a fair offer. And I think that will get close to getting it done with some add-ons. But you can't come in at 40 odd million pounds. Like, come on, man. This is like a Suarez deal again, 40 million and £1. So, yeah. Mum says we don't even want one bloody Kai Havertz in the team. That's very fair, Mum, to be honest. Maybe as a squad player. You've always said as a squad player like me that you're okay. Fresh Gamer of Bel Air. That's a quality name, bruv. We all know what happens. We don't sign anyone until the last few days of the window and they'll turn out to be mediocre. That can't happen this window. That can't happen this window. It just can't, if I'm honest. It's pathetic. It really is pathetic. Lee Judges said we've, in the last 4 windows, in 3 of them, we've spent nothing. He's right. If you compare this little short window, I mean, I know it was only open for a couple of weeks, but we signed nobody again. So there's one window that's gone down without nothing. And then the January before that was nothing. We did the Calafiori business in the summer, which was pathetic. And then we did nothing in the January before that. So really the last transfer window we had where we thought, wow, at least we've signed somebody big was Declan Rice. And that was 2 seasons ago now. So that isn't good enough. And I don't know why the fans don't put more ownership problems to blame. It's always everybody else. The owners are laughing, if I'm honest with you. Mr. says, big up, my guy. First time on your life. First time on your live. Bless up, bro. No, come on, man. Legend. Thank you so much. And thank you all, man. There's 1.2K in here. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you're just joining, it sounds like Victor Gyokeres wants Arsenal. It does not sound like he wants Manchester United. And you know what? That just makes me feel so much better, man. It really does. Listen, what I don't want to see is anybody. What was I going to go with this? Where was I going to go with this? It's gone out of my head now. Yeah, that was what I was going to say. I don't want to see anybody start saying that, because what will be interesting, this is a genuine thing. We were linked with Alexander Issac, and everybody wanted Alexander Issac. Oh my God, Arteta's obsessed with him. Arteta goes to sleep thinking about him at night. He's done PowerPoint presentations. Alexander Isac's the guy, right? Then what happened was we were told it probably is unlikely. Big up to Des. And then what makes me laugh is we're probably not going to sign him. Well, I'm not actually sure he's been that good for Newcastle in the last few months. It doesn't look like he's quite as good as we thought. And I'm like, hang on a minute. What's happening here? It seems like the Arsenal fan base, or a section of them at least, blow wherever the wind blows. And then it's like, we really want Victor Gyokeres. Andrea Berta's woken us all up, and we want Victor Gyokeres. Oh, he's so much better than Issac. He's unbelievable. That's the one that we need. And it's like, wow, they go there. Then literally a few weeks later, we look like we're going in for Sesko. And everyone's like, well, I think he fits us better than Gyokeres and Issac. Hang on a minute, man. Like, what is going on? Have your own opinions on it. Like, it feels to me like whatever we want, it's like, I get it. I see the vision. And it's like, hang on a minute. Like, we'll probably be linked with Callum Wilson or Patrick Bamford, and they'll go, oh, I think that would fit the system. Like, come on, man. Like, have your own opinions. We all knew there were 4 or 5 strikers available. Yeah. And you always had your number one. My number one was Alexander Issac. The minute I knew we weren't signing him, it was Gyokeres. And it always has been him. I haven't moved on anybody else. I said that I would take Julian Alvarez if it wasn't Gyokeres. I would have taken Victor Osimhen if it wasn't Gyokeres. But I don't particularly want Ekitike, Sesko, Delap, or any of the other guys. Yeah? Some of them have since moved. Some have since said they're staying. It looks to me as if it is going to be Gyokeres or Sesko, or it could be both. I don't know. I don't know that it won't be before everyone starts getting in there. But now it seems that we're linked with Gyokeres again, and that he's come out and said, I want to go to Arsenal. Now what are the fans going to do? Oh, I know we've done videos for the last 3 weeks on why Sesko fits our system better than Gyokeres, but actually we're going to put all that in the bin now because it looks like Gyokeres. I was wrong. The system will work. It will. It's going to be funny now because all of those guys that wanted Sesko and said this is the reason he's better are now going to have to start flipping their 360 quick. Let's get some Gyokeres videos out. That's what'll happen now. Oh, let's do a whole 20-minute section on why this guy is better than this guy, and Gyokeres is going to be so great because of this link. That's what's going to happen now. So, look, I hope that there's no smokescreen for Sesko. And the good thing is that if it is true about Gyokeres coming out and saying, I want Arsenal, that's definitely not Arsenal putting out any form of smokescreen. That's him saying, I want him. I want them. So, I want Arsenal means Gyokeres does not want United, and at the moment, out of the clubs he's been offered to, Arsenal is in front. Doesn't mean that there's somebody else. Doesn't mean there's another club not going to come in for him. Yeah. I'm surprised Chelsea haven't gone for him or Osimhen. I'm absolutely amazed that they went for Delap over those two. Now, it doesn't mean they're not going to go in again for them and have Delap as the kind of backup. But for me, at the moment, it looks like I've got to be honest. I was quite worried that Chelsea might go in for Gyokeres and Rodrigo with us. I felt like Arsenal's targets were aligned with Chelsea's. So even the goalkeeping situation, I thought when we had Joan Garcia links that Chelsea would want him. When we've been going in for defenders like Mosquera and Joel Harto and Dean Howson, Chelsea were in for them. In midfield, Rodgers and Eze have been linked with Chelsea just like Arsenal have loosely. And Chelsea have been linked with Jamie Gittins, Nico Williams, Rodrigo, and of course there was loose rumours of Gyokeres. So for them to end up with Delap, potentially Gittins, potentially what's his name in goal? The AC Milan guys rejected them now, so I don't know what they'll do there. I'm like, right, their targets really are completely different to ours then, you know? Because I was genuinely worried that Chelsea might this season go, right, no more kids. Let's go and get ready-made players. Go and sign Osimhen. Go and try and get Rodrigo. Go and get, or Kudus, to be fair, like they have been linked with. Go and get the likes of Morgan Rogers, who's doing it in the Prem. You know, I really thought that could have been like, oh, wow. Go and get Diogo Costa or Michael Maignan. Go and get Mark Guehi at centre-back. And I'll be thinking Chelsea are serious here. Now, they could still do that, by the way. I'm not saying Chelsea aren't. But it looks like the players they're linked with Delap and that other 6'5" Frankfurt striker, or is it the Stuttgart striker? Can't remember his name. Norwegian guy, I think he is. Obviously, Jamie Gittins from Dortmund they want on the left. Centre backs, they're questioning Mark Guehi's price. Obviously, in goal, they want a new goalkeeper. I'm not looking at Chelsea at the moment going, wow. And I'm actually not looking at Newcastle, surprisingly, thinking, wow, either. Because if they are going to lose a couple of players, and I don't know who they're going to sign, I'm surprised they're not going for Kudus or Mbuemo, and they're going for Elanga, who's nowhere near the level of, in my opinion anyway, of Mbuemo. Good player, but Man United got rid of him. That says enough to me. And he did well at Forest, which is where he needed to kind of get his. I don't look at Elanga and think, wow, at Newcastle. So I hope that for Newcastle's sake, I'm wrong. But at the moment, I'm not feeling what they're doing. I don't quite know where Newcastle are going. Maybe it will take them a bit longer than I thought to get up to the top. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. They could surprise me in this window, but they're not linked with anyone scary at the moment. So I think it's going to go pretty nuts when this Club World Cup finishes. But I've got to be honest with you. I don't really care who everyone else signs. I want Arsenal to get Gyokeres. I want Arsenal to get Rodrigo. And I want Arsenal to go in and all in for Eze or Rodgers, if there are rumours that those two are on the move. I want us to be bringing in Zubamendi ASAP. If your Harto is the guy you want, go get him in. Kepa's the guy you want, go get him in. But they're the sort of 5 signings I want us to be looking at getting. Yeah. If Kepa and Zubamendi are done, I want 3 more at bare minimum. And those 3, I think, should be Zubamendi, Gyokeres, and Rodrigo. That's where I'm at. Sorry, I said Zubamendi twice. The defender that we link with, Joel Harto, if that's who we want. So, look, I still feel we need a creative midfielder, and Eze, I think, should be that guy. But let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. So that's the news. I'll bring it up again for you just in case you missed it and you're just joining now. Obviously, it's come from Fabrizio Romano, who I believe is probably the most reliable out there. And he has said that Gyokeres' priority is to join Arsenal this summer, despite calls from Manchester United in recent weeks. Gyokeres was always an option amid the Sesko talks, but there's been no deal sealed so far. Arsenal have kept assessing the situation, but United remain keen, but now believe that the deal is to be very unlikely. If this guy comes to Arsenal, that celebration is going to be done across the Emirates every time he scores. Big fan. And I hope that it's right. I hope that it's not bullshit. I hope it's actually going to be something that comes to fruition, because he's a player I like. He's a player I've wanted for some time. And if I'm honest with you, I think he'd absolutely light up the Premier League, and I think he'd take Arsenal across the line. There we go. People will clip that now, and if he flops, they'll replay it years and years to come. Will Arsenal now sign Gyokeres? Let's look at the poll. We've got over 550 votes at the moment, and 59% of you say, yes, we will now sign him. So we've got pretty much 60-40, 60% saying yes, no, 40%. I hope we get him. I really hope we get him, man. I really hope we get him. So let's see what happens. Yes, as my mum says, happy Father's Day for tomorrow to all dads in the chat. And that goes for my dad, obviously, as well. And yeah, and also for those that no longer have their fathers present, obviously our thoughts go out with you on this day as well. So do please remember your loved ones and tell your loved ones that you love them. Big up to everyone, to all your dads out there. Look, let's move from Victor Gyokeres and Benjamin Sesko. And let's take a little bit of a look at what AFC stuff's saying before we start to come to a close. Now, we did report yesterday, of course, I say we report. I shared reports, I should say, because it's not definitely us that reported it. Nico Williams and Barcelona had links. And if I'm honest with you, it does look like Arsenal are still not giving up on this one. And I think it's Arteta that really badly wants him, if I'm honest. But apparently Arsenal and Bayern Munich have knocked on the door of Nico Williams. Both clubs are willing to pay his £60 million release clause and offer him a high contract to convince him to join. Williams wants to know Barcelona's plan before deciding the next step. That's come from a couple of sports outlets. Now, I truly believe that Barcelona is his destination and only destination. I don't think he wants to leave Spain. And if I'm honest with you, I can understand why. Spain are the favourites to win the biggest tournaments as a team. He's got Lamine Yamal, he's got Dani Olmo that are all playing in Barcelona's first team and currently in Spain. He's got an unbelievable opportunity over there to prove that he can do what people believe his potential is, and that's light up the league. Now, he lit up the Euros, to be fair to him, but so did the whole of Spain. Whether it was Zubamendi or Rodri, whether it was Dani Olmo, whether it was Lamine Yamal, whether it was Pedri, they all lit up the Euros. There's an unbelievable amount of quality in this Barcelona side. Pedri, Olmo, Yamal are all there. If Williams can be added to that, they've got a great, great future. So I personally believe that he will go to Barcelona. Barcelona will obviously want him. Bayern Munich will definitely want him because they've obviously sold Leroy Sané. They've got an aging few players on the wing other than Michael Olise. So I appreciate why they want him, and I can appreciate why Arsenal are up there as well. Now, one thing I will say is that if Barcelona and Bayern Munich are wanting him, it's probably good that Arsenal want him because he's obviously got that potential for one of those European elite sides. He just wouldn't be my preference. That's all I'll say on it. Now, I don't mean that this doesn't mean he's rubbish, by the way, because I've got people wrong before. I wouldn't have particularly wanted some of the players that have gone on to do wonderful stuff. I never really knew who N'Golo Kante was. I watched Mahrez when he first joined Leicester and thought, oh, he looks all right, but I wouldn't want him at Arsenal. How wrong was I? I've looked at players like Luka Modric when he went to Tottenham and thought, yeah, I'm glad we got Eduardo, though, because he's a finisher. How wrong was I? Luka Modric was unreal. So there's been players I've looked at and thought, wow. There's been players I've looked at and thought, not sure. And sometimes I've got it wrong. The players I've gone wow at have done nothing. Yeah. Like Adel Tarabt, I looked at him and thought, he's going to be a baller. Ravel Morrison, he looks unreal. Paul Pogba, wow, he's going to be unbelievable. And it never happened. Yeah. But there's been some that have been next level. It's just the way it is in football. Sometimes you get it wrong with it, right? Nico Williams to Barcelona, I think is probably going to happen. I think Arsenal need to forget about him. That's just me, personally. That's just me. Where are we here? Okay, that's the... Hang on a minute. What's happening here? Why's that? No, that's it. There we go. So that's the Nico Williams thing. This is quite an interesting thing, actually. Where was it? No, it was up here, wasn't it? Which goal did you celebrate the most? I thought this was quite good, actually. Which goal, and looking back a bit, which goal did you celebrate the most this season? Was it Gabriel's against Spurs? Was it Lewis-Skelly's against Man City? Was it Declan Rice against Real Madrid? Or was it Martinelli's against Real Madrid? The most I celebrated was Declan Rice's second free kick this season. In order of that, I'll say that I celebrated Gabriel's against Spurs the least because it was 1-0 and I was not convinced that we were going to 100% take 3 points at that stage. So I was a little bit more nervy. The Martinelli one, I went mental, but if I'm honest, I celebrated the Saka goal more. And then Lewis-Skelly, I just couldn't believe we were smashing Manchester City. It was beautiful to see. But it has to be Declan Rice's, man. That second free kick, come on. That was out of this world, man. Out of this world. Then there's a Nico Williams chat. We've got Wanyeri and Marino talking about their favourite moments of last season. Obviously, Romano earlier, this was 10 hours ago, said United keep calling for Gyokeres. Don't forget Arsenal. Arsenal remain in contact for Gyokeres. New contacts are taking place, and he remains a strong option for Arsenal and a case to watch for the next few weeks. I think Romano knows something's happening here. I really do. I think Romano knows something's happening, and I hope it's for Arsenal, right? Emirates Cup's going to be happening. Arsenal will host the Emirates Cup on the 9th and 10th of August. The fixture's dependent on the Community Shield date and time. It's likely that Arsenal will also have another pre-season friendly at the Emirates Stadium. So that'll be interesting to keep your dates free to understand. Again, on Nico Williams, Kike Marine says the only thing that seems clear regarding Williams' future is that he's desperate to sign for another team this summer. Williams has already told his Bilbao teammates that he will not be at the club next season. So there were rumours suggesting he might be staying at Athletic Club, but I don't actually think that's the case now. So that's where I'm at. I do feel like there's, potential for him to now move, but I do think it's Barcelona where he's going. I just do. That's what I mean. I believe. Another rumour of Leipzig, but not Sesko, is Antonio Nusa, who I think has got 3 goals and 3 assists in 25 games. He's a 20-year-old winger. Apparently, he's another potential sign-in from Leipzig. During talks for Benjamin Sesko, we're also looking at him. Multiple insiders in the industry have confirmed that Arsenal have interest. However, it's not yet clear if Nusa is valued at 45 million euros as a priority target. I wouldn't take this one as gospel. I think this is I take this a pinch of salt. I don't think we're going for Nusa. Yeah, I think there's a lot of wingers that we can get better than him. So I wouldn't take this one as gospel at all. Obviously, Gabriel is being spoken about as well. And then that's me. That's that. AFC stuff. Big up. Appreciate you guys as ever. Haven't missed any super chats. No, I don't think I have. There's a question in the chat from Prone. Big up to you. Says, Dan, what do you think about getting both Sesko and Gyokeres? Could it be that this is why things are dragging out? I really hope we do, man. I honestly do hope. I do hope that we end up with both. But do I think we will? No. No. I think the minute that Sesko realizes that Gyokeres is the guy, or the minute that Gyokeres realizes that Sesko is the guy, I think the other one says no thank you and goes to Liverpool or Manchester United or Chelsea. I think they'll come to England, though, both of them. I do. Whether it's this summer or the following summer. I think both of them will end up playing for Premier League clubs. So that's going to be interesting as to which way around it is. I'd love Gyokeres, man. I'd absolutely love him. If we got both, that'd be amazing. If we had anything about us, we'd sell Havertz. That's what we'd do. If we had anything about us, we'd get rid of Havertz, we'd get rid of Jesus, and we'd say we want Sesko and Gyokeres instead. But he won't do that because he loves Havertz. And this is the problem I keep saying to people. This Kai Havertz signing is the worst signing of Mikel Arteta's reign. Not because he's the worst technically that's at the club. Not because he was worse than Fabi Vieira or Lokonga or Cedric or Tavares or Pablo Mari. All of these guys were much worse signings and footballers than Havertz. But the worst signing is the problem signing, and it's Havertz because he doesn't know what to do with him now. He bought a guy for that much money, put him on that much money, and didn't have a position for him. Because when it didn't work out in the 8, which was a risk anyway, he then tried to move him into a more of attacking role in the 10. It didn't work. And then he thought, boom, the 9, which funny enough was where he started at Arsenal in the Community Shield against Man City. Wasn't amazing, but played okay. And everyone thought he could be the focal point. And he never did that again for whatever reason until the back end of the season where he put him as the 9. And we thought, wow, okay, he looks better there. But better doesn't mean Arsenal are going to win the league. So I personally feel like he's going to have to fall on that sword and accept that he got it wrong. We got 1.2K in here, but only, well, how many likes is it now? Is it only that many? 541. 541 to be exact. Likes. Hit the like and subscribe, as Soph said. Come on, people. Big up to everyone that's here. Really appreciate you as always. Thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for your super chats. We're gonna have a look at the poll because I asked people if they believed that Arsenal were actually going to be looking at getting Gyokeres now. And so far, with over 700 votes now, it's pretty much 60-40. 60 saying yes, we'll sign him. 40 saying no. 57% to be exact. 43%. Let's end it there. 57% of you believe that we will sign Victor Gyokeres now. That is, I just want him. I just want him, and I'll end with that. I want him so badly. I've made it clear. I'm not lying to people when I say that he's going to be a really good player. I don't know that he's going to absolutely bang, but I think it's less of a risk that he'll not do it, because I keep saying it. Sesko does not excite me, people. It just doesn't. So that's where I'm at. Look, we're going to send you over to Saeed. Saeed's talking about this just now because he's getting on the hump about it because Victor Gyokeres has said no to Manchester United. So go and show Saeed some absolute love. And just go and raid him by saying Dan Potts raid Gyokeres to Arsenal. Yeah? Dan Potts raid Gyokeres to Arsenal. He'll get really annoyed by that. So go show him some love. Stay tuned. You're heading over there. We'll see you next time, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great weekend and a beautiful Father's Day. Speak to you soon.